Alright, what is going on today, guys? I wanted to talk about an issue that I was having with my car. I was going on for a while. I didn't make a video on it because, I don't know. There's really not much you guys could have came up with, I'm sure. I mean, maybe you could have. But I didn't make a video on it. I kind of just left it how it was. And what it was going on is one day I noticed my car, it just didn't seem to start right. It just felt kind of weak. Now it is winter time, we are in February, so it is cold weather. And I thought I had bought a battery recently, so I figured, okay, maybe my battery's defective. I'm not really sure, but I just kept driving around. I kept just doing everything as I normally would: drive the car to work, drive to a friend's house, whatever. And it still kept doing it, where I noticed that the start was kind of weak. After owning a car for a certain amount of time, you just know how it drives, and you know all the little quirks and everything that it does. You know the car. I know this car better than anyone. I can notice little things that no one would ever know unless they'd driven this car for 5 years, 4 years. So, there's quite a bit that I know, and I could just tell when I started it. It just didn't feel right. I could just tell that it just wasn't how it normally started. So I kept driving it, and the starting was the same, I don't know, I'd say for about 3 weeks. And then after 3 weeks, it started to kind of get worse. I could notice it was kind of getting harder and harder to start. It's almost at some points where, like, I didn't think the car was going to start. It wasn't that bad at that point, but there's maybe like once or twice where, like, it almost really didn't want to start. And I was like, okay, well, I have a serious problem here. So I have a free replacement on my battery for 3.5 years. So I just went and bought a replacement. I didn't even buy a replacement battery. I just went there and said, I think my battery's defective. They just took it back. They literally gave me a brand new battery. So I put that battery in. And for a couple days, it actually seemed like it was starting better. Which I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, I guess it'll be my battery. That's good. But it was only for a couple days, for whatever reason. Only for like 2 days, my car started better. And then it started going back to, like, it didn't want to start. It would always start. It never didn't, like, not start. But it just felt weak. Almost like the battery was dead. So I was like, okay, and like maybe I have an alternator issue going on here. Let me get this thing tested. So I think I went to AutoZone, and I got my battery tested and the alternator, and they both checked out, no problem. I'm like, okay, why am I having an issue with my car not wanting to start, like it's weak, if my alternator is charging perfectly fine, and my battery is literally, it was at 100%. Like, the cold cranking amps are perfect. The battery was at 100%. It worked fine. So I'm like, why am I still having this issue if everything's working fine? I thought possibly it's my starter. I thought maybe it could be that. But it seemed weird that my car would start better after I had put a battery in. So I kind of ended up ruling the starter out. I'm like, why would, after putting a brand new battery in, my car started good for a couple days, if it was a starter, it would still be starting bad. So I kind of ruled that out. Well, how long was it? Another month maybe, another 3 weeks. Started getting really bad again. With the new battery, it had improved, like I said, and then it started getting really bad again. I was just like, and then it would start up. Like, it was like extremely weak. Like, it felt like a battery was literally about to die. I was like, okay. I'm like, well, whatever it is, it's gonna die. Like, whatever it is, I should get it tested, because whatever the problem is, it's definitely showing itself. Once again, I went to AutoZone. I'm like, let me get the battery checked again, just to see if maybe it was defected the first time. And something told me not to turn my car off. I had the car running, and I'm like, something tells you if I turn this car off, it's not going to start. Well, in order to do the test, you have to turn the car off. I'm like, okay. Turn the car off. They test my battery. It's at 100%. I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. I'm like, maybe my alternator isn't charging. So I'm like, is there any way you can test my alternator? They're like, yeah, sure, just start the car up. I go to start the car up, and it won't start. It had died. That was it. It finally gave out whatever it was. So I'm like, okay, well, this is great. I'm like, now I'm stuck here. I get the car towed to a local shop. I told him, I was like, I'm not really sure what it is. I'm like, at this point, I think it's my starter. I'm like, my alternator checked out fine last time. My battery's like brand new. They said it was 100%. I'm like, the only thing that I can really think of at this point that it is my starter. It ended up being my starter. I go there. The next day, he tells me, he's like, yeah, we were looking at everything. Your starter went bad. So I'm like, okay. They put a new starter in. And my car's been fine ever since. So I kind of wanted to make, I don't know, it was weird. It was weird, the feeling that I was getting. Usually when a starter goes bad, it will like click sometimes. Like you can hear it. You can hear the starter going bad. It has signs. In my situation, it literally felt like a weak battery. There's no other way to explain it. It just felt like a weak battery. Like the car it didn't want to start. Like it didn't have enough cold cranking amps to start the motor over. And it did. So if you are having an issue, where, you have a newer battery and your alternator's good and it kind of doesn't want to start, it just sounds like a weak battery, you actually may have a bad starter. Like I said, I know a lot of times when starters go bad, they'll make noises or kind of act up. They don't just give out. Mine just gave out. It worked. It was getting weak, and then it all of a sudden just stopped. So we tried banging on it when I originally had to get it towed. I tried banging on it, getting it to start, but it didn't do anything. The starter was just gone at that point. Now the one they put in here, it isn't a Motorcraft starter. It is I don't know what kind of starter it is, to be quite honest with you. But the guy knows somebody that literally works out of his house, and he just rebuilds starters. He literally, from the starting gear all the way to like the mechanisms on the inside, he literally replaces the entire internals of the starter. So it's not really, I guess you could say it's kind of a reman starter, but it's not one of those garbage reman starters you get at like AutoZone or Pep Boys or whatever that always start making noise after a year or 2 years. It's an actual good quality starter. Like I said, the guy, he literally rebuilds the entire starter. The only thing that's used is the casing. So every gear on the inside is all brand new. So ever since then, my car's been starting fine. Starts up no issue. I just saw it as a weird thing. Like I said, it was just weird how the car just seemed like it had a weak battery and it wasn't. So I kind of want to just make this video here in case you guys are having some weird starting issue with your car. Keep in mind, just kind of keep in the back of your head that you may end up having to replace your starter. I mean, my car's from 04, has 138,000 miles on it. It's almost about to hit 139 soon. I mean, the car is getting older. I mean, things are going to fail on it a little bit. I mean, this kind of is what it is. It's not really the car's fault that it failed. It kind of sucks that it left me stranded. I can't really blame the car, though. I mean, things go bad. I think that's the only time I ever actually had to get it towed, unless I did something, because I got into the accident. Obviously, I had to get it towed. That was my own fault. But actually, broke down, left me stranded. That was the first time it's ever done that. But that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to say. That's kind of my weird starting issue that I was having. I don't know. It seems like a weird starting issue. I feel like I said, most times the starters go bad. They just go bad. I mean, they start showing signs of going bad. They don't just, boom, that's it, like mine did. So that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll have some new videos coming out. I'm trying to be more active with videos. I'm gonna actually make another video real quick. Not real quick, but I'll make another video at some point. I kind of want to discuss to you guys some channel updates and kind of that stuff. I'm not gonna be in this video. I'll make a separate video, like a 2-minute video or something like that. Something real quick. But make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.